Okay, so welcome back to an interesting episode on how the government is having your pants down and shafting you from behind.
The government steals money from the people and spends it on things that we don't need, all with one aim in mind, and that is to keep you poor.
MPs should not be getting another pay rise. The country is literally suffering so much right now. Yes, an independent body is the people who decide if MPs get a pay rise, but the government can actually refuse to accept it, and they've chosen not to, and this is what is so frustrating.
We haven't got money for the farmers, we haven't got money for the pensioners, we haven't got money for our roads, our education system, our NHS, we haven't got money for the police, we haven't got money for anything.
You've got veterans on the streets. You've got parents who literally are working their off to make ends meet, and then they can't even put a hot dinner in their kids' bellies.
While we're making cuts, while things are getting cut back, while services are going down, while we're taking money away from poor people.
To keep you on the rat race. Why? Why do they want you in the rat race? So you can keep paying tax to make them money, to make the billionaires richer.
Now it appears this government doesn't even believe in the democracy that elected it to power.
I can't get over the government, right, and how shambolically, disgustingly, absolutely inhumane these people are, yeah?
The stupidest thing that people say when you criticise this government is, ooh, I'd like to see you do a better job. Like, that's not the point, is it? These people were elected and are paid very well to do the job, and therefore should do the job.
Welcome back to Brit Rants, where we speak up for the people getting crushed while the elites play pretend. Let's cut through the noise. It's not left versus right anymore. It's us versus them. The real state of British politics, who don't live like us, make rules they don't follow, back industries that fund them, and distract us with scandals while ignoring the real problems. The NHS on its knees, wages frozen, bills sky high, and a generation without a future. They don't feel the squeeze. We do. They claim it's all broken, but the truth is, it's working exactly as they designed it, to serve them and screw us. Today on Brit Rants, we're tearing into the growing war between the ruling class and the rest of us, and TikTok has had enough. So if you're tired of the lies, the corruption, and the never-ending spin, hit subscribe. Let's expose the system and fight back together.
Mr. Starmer, do you hate the British? Well, are you systematically destroying this country? Have you sold the UK to BlackRock and Co? Do you plan to drag the UK into a war so you can cancel elections? Do you plan to put people in jail for having a different opinion? And finally, do you have a thing for Ukrainian male models? Honestly, the state of the UK at the moment is absolutely atrocious. I mean, the government organisation Prevent saying that the actual problem in the UK are British patriots is absolutely beyond a joke. If you cannot be proud of your country and be worried about what's happening to it, they want to silence you. They don't want you talking in pubs. They don't want you communicating. And they like to label everybody as racist, and now they want to say that you're something else. How is that even possible in 2025? Keir Starmer's going down a very, very dark path.
The government steals money from the people and spends it on things that we don't need, all with one aim in mind, and that is to keep you poor, to keep you on the rat race. Why? Why do they want you in the rat race? So you can keep paying tax to make them money, to make the billionaires richer. So the question is, if you look at a lot of my videos, you will see that the people of Britain are ready for revolution. They're ready to fight back. But the question is, what do you do? How do you give power back to the people? The first thing to understand is how the government takes power away from you. And that comes with psychological manipulation. From young, we are constantly bombarded with the idea that we should be obedient little people, worker drones, worker ants, to do nothing other than pay tax. That's what we're here for. We're here to keep an economic machine moving, to keep other people in power. That's it. So the first thing to do to take our power back is to understand that we, the people, have the power. But the first thing you have to do is change your perspective on who you are and what is possible, and start creating wealth for yourself. Instead of spending all your time and energy creating wealth for other people, it's to create wealth for yourself. Now, if you want to come and see us in Facebook, click the link in the bio and come and join the People's Parliament, where we're talking about how to create wealth in your life.
Do you think MPs should be getting this pay rise, just yes or no?
As an average of everybody else's, that was what was deemed acceptable. What do you want, Jubes?
Yes
what do you want? What do you want, Jubes?
MPs should not be getting another pay rise. The country is literally suffering so much right now. Yes, an independent body is the people who decide if MPs get a pay rise, but the government can actually refuse to accept it, and they've chosen not to, and this is what is so frustrating. This would have been the perfect opportunity for Labour to turn around and do something very easy and quite populist, right? And say that there's no way that MPs are going to get another pay rise while the rest of the country is suffering, while we're making cuts, while things are getting cut back, while services are going down, while we're taking money away from poor people. Labour had such an easy decision to make, and they keep saying that, oh, this is done by an independent watchdog. You know for a fact that you can decline the pay rise. There is no reason why MPs should be getting a pay rise consistently every single year. It shouldn't be attached to inflation. It shouldn't be attached to any other measures. MPs should not be allowed to get a pay rise bigger than the average public sector worker. How about that? How about that for an average? That's the way it should work. Last week, we've literally got Rachel Reeves, the government, Bridget Phillipson, cutting disability benefits, changing the system so less people can have access to it. Tomorrow, we've got Rachel Reeves and her spring statement. We have no idea what's coming. Some people are saying it's going to be another 10, 20, 30 billion pounds worth of cuts. But Keir Starmer and the government couldn't turn around and say no, we're not getting a pay rise.
The stupidest thing that people say when you criticise this government is, ooh, I'd like to see you do a better job. Like, that's not the point, is it? These people were elected and are paid very well to do the job, and therefore should do the job. Like, if I went to McDonald's and ordered a burger and you handed me two buns with a big, fat, hot, steaming turd in between, I'd be quite within my rights to say that is not acceptable. You couldn't then turn around to me and say, ooh, I'd like to see you make a better burger. I'd like, mate, you've shat in me Big Mac. All right. Oh, I'd like to see you do a better job. I reckon I could do a better job. I reckon everyone watching this video could do a better job. I reckon my nan could do a better job than this government, and she's been dead since 2007.
Okay, so welcome back to an interesting episode on how the government is having your pants down and shafting you from behind. Okay, so you're going to love this one. You really, you're going to love this one. So guess what? The government has spent £9.6 million of your money, no one else's, yours, on a new security door at Westminster Palace. And apparently, 2 years on, it still doesn't work. What is it, this front door? Is it made of gold? They need staff on around the clock to press a button to try and get it to open when people come in. You can't make it up, can you? How does it work? So someone comes in and goes, right, yeah, no front door, that's going to cost you £9.6 million. What do they do? Just go, yeah, no worries, yeah, get it done, try and fit it tomorrow. Right, we've got a load of taxpayers' money here. What we're going to do now is, let's just waste it all. You'd at least haggle. You'd at least say, look, 10 million's a little bit too much for a front door. Let's go with 5. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why do we put up with this shit? Why?
The biggest problem we have with the UK government right now is the fact that people are making careers out of becoming MPs. MPs historically were actually authoritative figures that worked for the public. Now, these MPs are working for themselves and making decisions depending on how well that decision will be for their career.
If I won the lottery right now, I would definitely move away from the UK. I think our country is utterly on its and it just saddens us. Like, every single thing that I hear just adds to the absolute disgust and dismay that I feel about this of a country that is called Great Britain. There's nothing great about it. It's just a friggin' storm of a if that makes sense. I can't get over the government, right, and how shambolically, disgustingly, absolutely inhumane these people are, yeah? Rachel Reeves, you utter plebiscite. You are an absolutely abysmal person. Now listen, and now she's just the face of things, but there's other people around her, right? But Howie, first of all, you cut the winter fuel allowance, right, for the elderly. And then there's talks about you cutting the disability allowance, PIP, for other people, right? Some of them can't even leave the house, right? And they can't afford to heat the house that they can't afford to leave. And you are taking this away from them. You've got veterans on the streets. You've got parents who literally are working their off to make ends meet, and then they can't even put a hot dinner in their kids' bellies, right? This place is on its arse. Literally. There's wars going on everywhere. Our biggest ally, Trump the Muppet, is literally our friggin' enemy. He's the world's enemy at the minute. He's absolutely just, the place is on its arse. And quite frankly, it is absolutely terrifying. But politically, we are absolutely friggin' screwed. We're screwed when the Tories were in, and we're screwed now that Labour's here. I mean, I just don't understand how it has just went so bloody wrong. Anyway, I need to get it off me shoulders. Off me shoulders? I need to get it off me brain. Sick of this shit.
MPs are set to get a 2.8% pay rise despite the country being on its. Yep, you heard that right. MPs, the current MPs, the ones that are in charge of taxing everyone outrageously, taking away from the pensioners, the farmers, and giving all to the boat people, they are going to receive a 2.8% pay rise. And if you haven't forgotten, we fund them. So it's coming out of our pockets yet again. The absolute cheek of them. They keep going on about this £22 billion black hole that they've clearly made up because there's no money, but there's money there for a pay rise. Don't you worry. We haven't got money for the farmers. We haven't got money for the pensioners. We haven't got money for our roads, our education system, our NHS. We haven't got money for the police. We haven't got money for anything. Inflation's up, skyrocketing, and people feel poorer than ever. Yet there's money there to give the old MPs a pay rise. And don't get me wrong, I think MPs should be on a good wage if they're going to be running the country. But in return for this good wage that we fund, surely we want people in charge who are actually going to run the country well. These guys in charge right now do not deserve a pay rise. They are purposely bankrupting you, me, your granddad, your nan, your cat, your hamster. But they've got money for themselves. They've got money for the people that we don't want our money going to. But everywhere that is core fundamental value to this country, farmers, NHS, there's no money. How are they gaslighting us this badly? They are telling you that you should be skint. You know, times are tough. We need to pay for this, that and the other. And then they just go out and whack a 3% pay rise for themselves. Are they joking? Are they actually messed up in the head? They're gaslighting you, and we're not angry enough. We're just carrying on. Yeah, we'll go to work and afford less and get nowhere with our money. But it's all right. The people at the top who also get holidays paid for, trips paid for, expenses paid for, meals subsidised, they're not struggling at all. And they're the ones that get the pay rise, not the people who are at the bottom struggling, holding this country together. It's absolutely scum of a decision by the MPs today. I'm outraged. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Now it appears this government doesn't even believe in the democracy that elected it to power. Rushing through, giving away the Chagos Islands while paying through the nose for the privilege of no longer having it will be rushed through Parliament with very little scrutiny and not enough say from our elected politicians. This government doesn't like our country and seems to want to diminish all that we have left. We need proper scrutiny, proper democratic oversight of such big decisions, and yet Labour seem unwilling to let the people's voices be heard.
So I've got a proposal for you. I've got an idea that I think would be a really good idea, which I want to run past you. Let me know what your thoughts are. So it's this: given that our parliamentarians, our MPs, seem to be increasingly so out of touch with the everyday man and woman in this country, completely detached from reality. Many of them have just gone straight into politics from university, never had proper jobs, and just don't really seem to have a clue how the majority of people think. So I'm advocating for a move towards much more of a direct democracy style of government. What is direct democracy? Well, essentially, it's a series of referendums on critical issues, key issues that change the actual fabric of society. So clearly you don't want people voting once a week on every single law or every single bill that gets passed. So on all the sort of major administrative stuff, maybe some of the economic stuff, all the sort of general day-to-day governmental issues, then you leave the government to do that. But when it comes to the big issues, the things that affect society, the things that change society, the things that have a real impact going forward on how we live our lives, then people should have their say. How does this work? Well, the perfect example of this is Switzerland. Switzerland is recognised as being one of the most stable, neutral, successful countries on earth. I'm aware it's tiny. I'm aware it's tiny compared to the UK, and so it's much easier for them to do it. But they have a system of direct democracy, and the people get to vote on key issues. Now, I've looked into this. On average, they vote, roughly speaking, about 4 times per year on critical issues that go through their parliament. Some years it's more. In 2022, they voted 11 times on key issues. So what sort of key issues am I talking about? Well, this week is the perfect example. Yesterday, the House of Commons voted on whether to decriminalise abortion at any point, right up to the point of birth. That has a huge effect on the whole of society going forward. Women's rights, babies' rights. And from what I've read, they reckon that between 1 and 5% of people actually support this measure. So less than 1 in 20 people, but as little potentially as 1 in 100 people actually agree with this measure, but the MPs voted it through anyway. Is that right? Is that representative to democracy? If 1 in 100 people out on the street support something and the MPs do it anyway, is that correct? And that is a law that's going to have a direct effect on society going forward. At the end of this week, on Friday, they're voting on the assisted dying bill, and whether the elderly and the terminally ill should be allowed to voluntarily end their lives early. Again, that's the type of thing that the people should have their say on, not MPs. So, to me, bringing in some form of direct democracy, and as I say, you can't do it on every law, you can't do it on every bill, it'd be ridiculous, it'd be completely unmanageable, and you wouldn't be able to do it. But 2, 3, 4 times a year maybe, on the really critical things that affect our future, that we have a view on, and that which potentially the people don't seem to agree with the politicians on, surely we should have a say. Does anyone disagree with this? Does anyone think that would be a bad thing? And if so, why? I think that the Reform Party are advocating for this. I'm fairly sure that in their manifesto they have said that they would like to look at this and bring in some form of this. Now, as you're probably aware if you watch my other videos, I'm starting to get a bit of a deep distrust of many in the Reform Party, particularly Nigel Farage, sadly. So in the vote yesterday, all of the Reform MPs voted against this decriminalisation of abortion right up to the point of birth, and Farage wasn't there and he abstained. But anyway, they seem to be supporting it. But leaving it aside, not even as a party political issue, what are your thoughts? Do you think we, the people, should get to decide much more? That we, the people, should have much more of a say in our future, and that we, the people, should get much more of a say in the really important, critical issues that affect our lives? Because I do, 100%. But I'd like to know your thoughts and your views. So leave a comment and ideally repost this so we get as many people as possible partaking.
All I've heard today from the Labour government is that they have our backs. How do you feel about that? Starmer keeps waffling on about how he's putting more money in your pocket, how he's securing the borders, how he's rebuilding the NHS, and how they're building so many new houses. Yeah, does it feel like he's got your back? Because last time I checked, the country's in a mess. So this week already, we've had cars driving into crowds in the UK. We've had a white man in in central London who was racially attacked because he was the only white man there. Also called a no-go zone in our own capital city. Sounds brilliant, Starmer. Country is on the up. I'm just so bored of them lying to us constantly, gaslighting all of us, telling us they're doing one thing and literally doing the other. I thought it was bad enough they lied in their manifesto before getting elected and then went back on all their words, but they're still just gaslighting us, they're still lying to us, and they're still in power. It's got to stop, man. How are we in 2025 and the people in charge of this country are allowed to lie to us, allowed to manipulate us, are allowed to gaslight us? Doesn't seem very right, considering we pay their wages and we officially or unofficially elect them in through the democratic way. Something's got to give. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just don't know what to say anymore, to be honest with you. There's not enough people standing up together in this country. There's not enough people uniting against what's going on. There's not enough people who are angry. People aren't angry enough. I'm livid and I'm still not angry enough. I do think civil unrest is on the way in the next few years, but why are we not doing anything about it now? Why are we allowing them to rinse us financially, mentally, give it all to the people that are undeserving, in my opinion? People that haven't worked, haven't paid tax, haven't lived here their whole life, haven't, raised a family, looked after their elderly. Why do they get everything? Just done with it, to be honest with you.
Well, it looks like the Doge Squad, the Reform Doge Squad, are finding more wasted money. You know your TV licence that keeps going up, and then if you say I don't want to pay it, you get a knock on the door, threats and all of that crap. Well, look what Reform Doge have found. There you go. Reform UK Doge team has found that Kent County Council is using taxpayer money to pay for licence fees for asylum seekers. So, Mr. Smith, that can't afford his TV licence because his council tax has gone up, his water's gone up, his electricity bill's gone up, the interest rate's gone up, so that his mortgage has gone up. They're getting the TV licences paid for. Now, some people might say, well, they've got to be able to do something. I get that. But can we first get our own house in order before we start paying for things like that for everybody else, all and sundry? I mean, it's not as though the UK government are borrowing more money than ever and then giving it all away, is it? I don't know. What do you think about that one?
You are going to love this one. The Prime Minister of Mauritius has just announced massive tax cuts for his people. And guess who's footing the bill? You. Yes, the British taxpayer. Keir Starmer handed over the Chagos Islands and almost £500 million in the process. Mauritius are using it to wipe out their national debt, raise minimum wage, and scrap income tax for 81% of their citizens. These are not rumours either. These were all confirmed and announced in their budget speech recently. Starmer also tried to downplay the cost of the deal. £3.4 billion, he said. No big deal. The documents, however, show that it could be as much as £30 billion over the 99 years. Just slightly more than. We are told that we have no money, that the country is in a massive black hole of financial debt. But no problem, we'll just pay another country's tax bill for the next 99 years. The best part, though, the people of Diego Garcia still don't get to go home, which is all they actually wanted. So it turns out that the human rights lawyer doesn't really care about human rights at all, does he? Can't make it up with this government, can you? Let me know what you think of this in the comments.
Hey guys, I've got a question for you. I want to know, do you want Keir Starmer to resign right now? Because I am really cheesed off with this muppet. This muppet and his circus acting government. We got Rachel Reeves from The Office. We got Angela Rayner, who doesn't know what day of the week it is. And we got that nutter who's going on about the environment all the time, net zero. But who wants Keir Starmer to resign now? He's now wanting to send surveys out to disabled people. He wants to know what they're spending their money on. He's taxing pensioners, for Christ's sake. He's taxing their state pension. More than 50% of people are being taxed. That's pensioners being taxed. But within 2 years, every single pensioner is going to be taxed. What for? To send all this money abroad? He sent more money abroad than any other Prime Minister. So I want to know, do you want to see Keir Starmer resign today? Have you had enough of the Muppet Show? Have you had enough of the Muppets in power? And do you need a new leadership? Let me know in the comments below if you want to see the senior Muppet resign, along with the other Muppets.
I'm just going to put this out there, and Keir Starmer doesn't speak for me as a British citizen. No way does he. There is no way that I think it is a good and sensible decision to go up against President Trump and Putin. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I think he needs to take a step back and concentrate on what's going on in our country, protect our borders and see what's going on in our country before you start pitting a war against the likes of Putin and President Trump. What I don't know what is wrong, and everyone's saying the dictators. What is Keir Starmer doing? What is he doing? I don't think he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't speak for the majority of British people. I can tell you that now.
UK Parliament are supposed to be announcing that they're cutting more money, they're doing more spending cutbacks in the UK, and the majority of those spending cutbacks are to be taken from the welfare budget, I've heard on the radio this morning. Tell me why in the next segment on that radio announcement news thing, we're having massive services and poppy celebrations and things like that, and stuff for Armistice or Remembrance Day. I'm not anti-patriotic whatsoever. If you want to wear your poppy and celebrate and remember, knock yourself out. But why the are people who are struggling having money taken from them, and we're spending millions of the UK taxpayers' money celebrating something that's happened over 100 years ago? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Someone please tell me what I'm misunderstanding here.
When Parliament had the chance to vote for a national inquiry into the grooming gangs that destroyed the lives of thousands of British children and their families, what did they do? 364 MPs said no. Not a single Labour MP backed that inquiry, not one. Here are some of the names on that list: Rushanara Ali, Yvette Cooper, Rosina Allen Khan, Tanmanjeet Singh Desi, Stella Creasy, Imran Hussain, Afzal Khan, Jess Phillips, Yasmin Qureshi. All of them voted against an inquiry. When it came to protecting British children, they chose to look the other way. It makes me question the priorities of our MPs. They put their own political interests, their own vote banks, before our British children. I've noticed that some of the same MPs are also the ones who condemn Israel. But we are meant to believe that this is just coincidence, that there's no bias, that this is what representation looks like. No, I see it. I believe we all see it. Labour has shown what it stands for, and it doesn't seem to be British children or the British public in general. I think we've all had enough. Britain should come first, always.
We're ruled by a political class that's lost all connection to real life. They've sold off our services, stripped down our rights, and now act shocked when we're angry. But what else did they expect? You can only kick people down for so long before they rise up. They say, we're all in this together. But when things go wrong, it's never them that suffer. It's always us. So, if you're done being lied to, done being used, and done being blamed, hit that subscribe button. Tell me in the comments, what's the biggest betrayal you felt from our so-called leaders? Because here on Brit Rants, we're not backing down, and we're not shutting up.